All right, y'all. Welcome to episode 4 of Outfitting Unity. I've got some guests today. Y'all want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Matt Harrington.
I'm Jacob Crockett.
Hi.
You all have favorite flavors of ice cream?
Yeah, I'm just going to jump right in. So we're sponsored by In-N-Out today. And I'm going to see if you guys can pass the test. If you can pass the test, we're going to eat. If you can't pass the test, this is going somewhere else. Oh. These are all of the off-menu items. This is every single off-menu item. There's drinks. There's every category that you can order in and out, and I'm going to see if you can get them. Ooh. All right, let's hit the obvious. Go ahead.
Animal style.
Animal style.
Protein.
Got that.
I'm from the Midwest.
We're gonna help you today. We're gonna educate you about the off menu in and out.
I publicly claim to be a huge In-N-Out fan, and now I'm realizing that.
Yeah, you are a fan. If you're not a big fan or a huge fan, I was definitely a fan. You like it. Any other items?
There's probably like a float or something with a milkshake and soda.
Okay, close. What kind of a float?
A root beer float.
Okay, got it. Got one of the drinks. Okay, that's yours. Root beer float.
There's you can get a Neapolitan.
Oh, what do you apologize? You guys have to figure that out.
What else? I mean, you don't have every single combination of the different shape flavors, but
No, those are off menu. The other ones are on menu. Okay.
Yeah. Animal fries, right?
Or animal fries, yeah. Okay.
Protein style.
Yeah. Those are right here.
you can get the like grilled onions on the burger.
Do you know what that's called?
No, I've gotten it before.
This is called the Flying Dutchman, and it looks horrible. But this is the Flying Dutchman.
It's just the patty.
Yep, and there's chilies on here too. Did you know that In-N-Out carries chilies?
I did not.
Do you guys like? They usually have them out by the ketchup.
They do.
Yeah.
But very rarely do people get them. Are you guys chilies people?
Yeah, I'm a lot of spice.
Great. Everything we have is covered in chilies, and it's off menu. That's the Blind Dutchman. Keep going.
I think I'm tapped out like really.
Okay, no, I feel like there's some variations of animal style.
Okay, like?
Does one of them has like mustard?
Well, this one is numeric. Let's see if you can get it. There's some math to this one.
Oh, there's the double.
Okay, there's double, and
Legal. Is there a triple? Triple double? Quad? I don't even know.
This is called the quad. And J-Oy was going to eat this today. This is a 4x6.
Easy.
You zoom into that? I don't think you can zoom into that. This is a 4x6. And I'm so proud of you, dog. But oh, no. What is it? You got the Blind Dutchman. I think Harrington thought you guys.
Where's the dirty work, guys? Six pieces of cheesecake.
This is a different kind of a burger. What can we guess this one is?
Not a burger, Ingrid burger.
It's a vegetarian burger by In-N-Out. The vegetarian burger. It's less inspiring, but there's good things on this.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to any of you, I would not eat that
There's another kind of a vegetarian burger.
with cheese.
Grilled cheese. That's the grilled cheese with lettuce, tomatoes, and onions.
All right.
Okay. There's some other off-menu items.
How does one eat this?
With your mouth.
Yeah. So you like dislocate your jaw and get after it. Okay, there's one more. I think you guys said it earlier. See if we can guess this one. I don't want to touch it so that it eats. Okay, what's this one?
Oh, the protein.
That's protein. Okay, I'm gonna leave this up here. I'll put this right here. And you mentioned animal style. Okay. And there's that.
They're like the animal style fries.
Yep.
You can get an animal style burger.
You got the animal style burger. That's right there. And the animal style fries with chilies. There we go. It's a style fries with chilies.
Yeah, that's just called animal style fries with chilies.
Yep. With chilies. Off menu. I think we've got it. I think that's everything. But all of these are off menu items. It's animal fries. And the one you missed was cheese fries. Just straight up cheese fries. My wife gets those. And those are real good. So there's enough food here for 30 people. So y'all are going to have to come get some. A couple of scouts. Well, one of the things I found that I love about any type of show is to see people naturally laugh, have an actual good time, and see the smiles on your faces. So I'm glad you guys would be here.
Yeah, they do have it. This is school.
Yeah, you bet. So instead of sponsoring In-N-Out, let's talk about HireAligned. So now that you have food in your mouth, welcome to Outfitting Unity.
On the In-N-Out, no. I last fall I went to In-N-Out. I don't remember which one it was. I think it was one in Bountiful or it was Cross. And
That is good.
I was obviously like, I love culture and unity and, engagement, all this kind of stuff. And so I'm noticing that when I go to In-N-Out, it's just different. Like these people seem genuinely excited to be making burgers for people. What is wrong? Like, or what is right?
So when we get them,
But what is right? What's
should be less heavy. Yeah.
So the girl that was handing me my food, I said, "Hey, real quick, like, is everyone like happy because they work here, or do they work here because they're happy people?" And she paused and she like got a smile on her face and she looks at me and she was like, "Bull."
Wow. Okay.
And I was like, "That is so cool." Like that's really like the ideal for a team, right? It's like, hey, those team members recognize like, yeah, I want to work it in and out because like I'm a happy, upbeat, like energetic person. And that probably gets maintained because they work it in and out.
Right.
So I thought that was really profound when she looked at me and she's like, bold. And I think that's an ideal for all of us to shoot for with our teams. So
Yeah. You know what was fun is also prize. In-N-Out prize. Thanks, In-N-Out. When I pulled up, as I said, "What's up?"
This was good with the chilies.
Let me? Good. I said, "Y'all, I need your help. I want to order every off-menu item." And two people like ran to the register and they're like, "They're excited." Oh, yeah. And they're like, "Oh, yeah. And oh, yeah." And it's fun because like, it's not really a secret, but it's fun, right? They're sharing it with you right there. But how many different ways can you do hamburgers and fries? Like, they don't have like chicken nugget fries or like churro fries. Like, they're not doing things that you're like, these things really don't go together. Yeah. They do a crazy good, straightforward hamburger, but they have so much fun with it, So it was neat to order from them and have them like get excited about what we're doing. And then they all came to the window to meet me and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm filming a podcast with some friends." And they're like, "What's the podcast?" And so I'm like, "Oh, we're filming a podcast that's new. It's called Outfitting Unity." And they're like, "Where can I download it?" And so like they immediately were like, and they were tearing on the thing like, "It's called Outfitting Unity." So they were like talking about it. We're like, you know what I mean? And people kept like coming over, like, look who was ordering. And I was getting honked at from behind. This we've been here for like an hour. Right. So anyway, I love that. And I love that breaking bread with people brings them together. Fun brings people together. Smiling brings people together. So I love that you said that.
Yeah.
So I got all three In-N-Out. And any In-N-Out we go to, that's true, right?
Yep.
Yeah, great example.
Yeah, pretty remarkable. And I think it's really intentional.
Yeah.
Obviously, like that they try to create that through a lot of different avenues.
Mm-hmm.
But to connect it back to HireAligned, like you asked, that really like that example is exactly like what HireAligned is designed to help with, right? You can like when people, we believe, right? When people are aligned, just like that example at In-N-Out kind of showed us, like things work.
Yeah.
And when things aren't working, you overcome them easier because you're looking for things to work at. You're aligned with like the reason why you're there, the way you want to interact with people, and like the priorities you have with each other. And so it just works better. So that's very much like why we set out to build HireAligned, because we believe that aligned teams just win and have fun and are ultimately like experiencing a level of engagement that many people never do.
More engagement than normal.
Yeah. More engagement. So yeah. And then ultimately, like when we think about engagement, we think about what is an engaged person or team experience, and we would call it fulfillment.
That's awesome.
Or another word would be like real joy, right?
Real joy.
Yeah. Like
Let's talk about that. Like happiness versus joy. What's the difference?
yeah. Sorry, I know I'm talking a lot.
Oh, it's so good.
So I feel
We're talking about dark people. We're just talking about happy people there. I'll take you of a series of all this happy eating this pizza.
And that's a great example, right? So I mean, it's actually messing with me saying chilies and the fries, and I'm like, who ruined the fries? Like,
So going back to In-N-Out example, right? Like one of those people or someone that works at a fast food place or wherever, right? Like gets their paycheck. And to me, that could bring some happiness, right? Like hey, it's Friday. I just got paid and like, I am going to go like have a good weekend. Got some money to spend.
Yeah.
Like that to me is like some happiness, right?
I earned it.
It could be pretty like fleeting though, right? Like at the end of the weekend, maybe you're regretting some of your decisions on what you spent your money on or who you spent your money with.
I only do that when I go to Buc-ee's. Yeah.
Whereas like that feeling of knowing that on Monday morning you're going somewhere where you're aligned and engaged, like that's more like joy to me, right? It's like, hey, I'm actually involved with people and with something that I care about. And so, yeah, I'm going to like feel that innate joy and not rely on like these external things to bring me happiness, like a paycheck or like a.
Yeah, it's the result, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it becomes a even more important question of like, okay, how do we get at joy? And not just in like, cool, I'm going to clock out at 5 p.m. and, try to find joy somewhere else, but like in our whole lives, as things progress with technology, right? You have AI doing a lot of people's jobs right now.
Mhm.
There's all this kind of scare around, who's going to, like, what jobs will exist in 5 years?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the answer to that. But what I do know is that we can be even more intentional about seeking real joy and creating the relationships that generate that, bring that into our lives with technology, right? And there's kind of the doom and gloom AI, and there's like, hey, we're all going to not have to work, and it's like, okay, well, are we all going to be happy if we're not working? Kind of a thing. Like, how do you get that? How do you kind of balance this? And so that's been one thing that we've really found is, look, like, people often glorify certain types of jobs or certain types of work, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're happy and aligned with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went mountain biking with a guy this morning, works for a big bank, and he's like, yeah, I want to get out there. Like, I hate it. Well, I hate the work I'm doing, but they pay a lot of money. And I'm like,
he's making a lot of money. You cannot.
Yeah. I'm like, you can make enough money to go on vacation and pay your bills somewhere else that you're happier.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, yeah, but you're still there. And so like sometimes it takes a little bit of a step into the deep end, but
yeah. And I think there's this like, if I'm happy, I'll have joy. And so that's what I wanted to separate before I could do a surprise. But
seconds are right.
Yeah, we do that on the show. So there's something about solving problems, about having hard, that brings joy. And I think that we rob ourselves of that when we give hard things away. And this like serendipity happens when you've been doing hard and you've been grinding and then messing up a little bit and then grinding and then messing up a little bit and then grinding and like, not like succeeding, but progressing, which is different.
Yeah.
But that can also like, then there's this like moment where you're like, I figured it out. And that joy is like pain plus problem solved equals joy. And I think that like the pain is the bigger number there and the problem solves a smaller number, but like there's this kind of build of like, wow, this hurts. And that's the gift of joy, is that it had to hurt for a while.
Yeah.
And if you look at the hurt and then you're grateful for the hurt, and that's the other part of joy that I've found, is that I'm feeling this because I felt that. And you don't like, you can't just like be happy all the time. It's like dopamine hit. Actually, dopamine hit. Like if your system's like loaded with cortisol and then all of a sudden you feel joy, like it begins to feel worth it. And you're like, man, that cortisol stinks, but it gave that to me. So I was going to ask you guys, there was a restaurant near In-N-Out. They had a mutiny about a year ago and the restaurant like shut down. So you have like In-N-Out where there's hard work, consistency, a ton of people in line, and they're still smiling. But I think the hard work is like the gift for that smile versus like sadness and not aligned, like missing each other to mutiny, right? And the business actually died. And they have other locations, but you go to the other locations, you can feel the energy that there's not alignment.
Is this why that Zaxby's over there died? Not Zaxby's, no. Probably gonna right.
I'm going to leave the name. I am very much on purpose, but it was amazing. Like that event happened, and I heard about it 6 times from 6 different people. Wow, there was a mutiny, and it's dramatic and it's interesting. But I think that we can all like feel for that business owner and the employees and anyone that had anything to do with it. Like the loss of the business affects the vendors, affects the property owner, affects the employees, affects the owner. Like it hurts everybody. And so when it really misses, everyone's like, oh, because businesses fail, businesses succeed. Like that happens all the time. But that joy is just an interesting component.
Have you heard of the the types of fun. No, I mean, I have a long time, but I type 1 fun, type 2 fun. So I think the easiest, if you Google like types of fun, you usually end up on.
I feel like I'm going to tell my kids this tonight.
On
You're already type J.
I know, yeah, on REI's website, where it's like, if you think of outdoorsy stuff,
Right.
like nobody in the mid, like very few people in the middle of hiking Mount Timpanogos are like, this is so much fun. Because, you know, you're like struggling to breathe and, you know, like sweating and it's hot, you're thirsty. Like, you're never like, oh, this is fun. But you get to the top and you're like, this was so fun.
Yeah.
And so type 1 fun is like, hey, it's fun in the moment. But when you look back on it, I'm going to slaughter. But I know type 2 fun is in the moment, you're not having fun. And afterwards, when you look back at it, you're like, that was so fun.
Yeah.
And then so it's very much like, hey, the work that you put into it pays off.
Right.
And when you look at it, and I think about that all the time where I'm like, there's things that I can lean into in my life where I'm like, hey, in this moment, this is miserable. And I know looking back, I'm gonna be like, oh, that was fun. Like, I had a friend convince me to do an Olympic triathlon a year and a half ago.
I'll talk to your friend. I'm sorry I did that.
And afterwards, I was like, oh, that was fun. I mean, it was miserable. Ask me how many times I've ran since then. I count on one hand. You know, but yeah, very, very much type 2.
Well, It reminds me. So we got one of those, the Skybox, like the new, like with the chore chart and the calendar at Costco.
Okay, yeah.
It's great. You love it. It like rotates photos. And when we did it, we put everybody's chores on the chart. Like, we have 8 kids. And so everyone's like, there's things that need to be done.
Yeah.
But we found something interesting is that they wouldn't do chores when asked. We'd have to like ask and ask and ask. But once it was visualized, they were like bragging about who got them first. And they were having fun with it. And then my wife and I talked about it. So we doubled the chore load. And it went from fun to joy. And they had like pride in our home, like pride in the yard, and like a sibling like Leslie and Lana, you can go pick that up. You know what I mean? Like, they had like ownership.
Like, end of the skull?
Yeah. All clean, maybe. Yeah. But like, there was this ownership, you know, and my wife and I were like, did we discover like some type of like magic, you know? And it was, they had more responsibility. And so the weight ended up like bringing them joy because they felt like they were like contributing to the home, contributing to the family, somebody up for your team. And they were learning things. They had to problem solve. And there was just this happiness. And they asked for more chores. And now they're asking for like, hey, I noticed this in the window. And I'm like, be my guest, brother. Here. I'll be in the basement working on, you know, the water heater. You know, like our houses have so many things that just need attention. And the responsibility opened their eyes and they had a desire to go solve a new level of problem.
Yeah.
It was just an interesting thing. And so,
well, so I feel like that kind of connects back to like your example of the business that shut down, where it's like, and the contrast of in and out. So when people have something to align to that they can see clearly, like that's how unity can even happen. Like if you think about it, same with like alignment, which I feel like those words are just kind of 2 different versions of the same thing.
they're great. Yeah.
And so I really think that like that's one of the keys in what you're describing in the story and what In and Out has done, and in maybe what this other business did not do, is like declaring or articulating like this is who we are is so huge. Because how could anyone know if they align with something if there is not clarity around like this is who and how we are, right? And so I feel like that's kind of what maybe was created with your example there. It's like all of a sudden it became clear like, oh, like we're gonna do this together.
Yeah, this
is kind of like where we're at. Like all that kind of stuff matters, because without it, it's difficult to even align with it because it's not clear.
It was like an unspoken purpose and a busyness around the home. And we were done in like an hour and a half. And then they just felt very accomplished. They would come back and check the chart again and like start thinking about tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, you know, and let's talk about this. We're going to clear the table because we clear the table. Let's clear the table. Let's help again. Don't take it too far. Let's talk a little bit about surprises. And mostly because we have surprises. So, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Does he pick one or does he take the top one?
I don't know. I don't know how this game works. Anything in there?
I accept.
Or is it?
It's a sweet shirt.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
yes. How's that, viewers?
That's tea. It might be your size. I'm gonna just go out on the lens.
It's an XL.
There might be something else in here. Is this fit you?
I was gonna keep it for us.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, guys. Happy Hanukkah. Okay. There's more. Get it. This is like the unboxing, and like you don't know what you're unboxing because they're nice boxes.
It's getting real.
That's so sweet.
All right. You don't have to put all this on now, but most of it would be appreciated. Oh, I'm gonna put it on me.
I was asking you earlier if my head was causing any problems.
With the shine, it is. Yeah, that's better. They're like sun flare. I see what you did. Software. Yeah, that's gonna brought it back down, and we call see you. Fitting good.
All right, what's it called? Number 3.
So that's what it's like.
Here.
Cool.
So the wool tool.
I don't know if custom. I don't know if it's safe to pick this up.
Ooh,
What's that?
Oh, nice.
it's cold outside, guys. It's Memorial Day. That's awesome. What else is in there?
It's not done yet, dude. Go.
The box that keeps on giving. Sweet.
This one of the what Chris went out was like, thanks for the toothpaste, Dad.
Yeah.
I've always needed more toothpaste, especially cinnamon.
Like the Mother's Day can opener or blender.
Thanks.
No, this is excellent.
Yeah, thank you. This is awesome. Thank you. You're welcome. How do you feel right now?
Unified.
Loved.
Good. That's the idea.
It was like very thoughtful, right?
Yeah, very thoughtful. Right?
Yeah. In fact, if you haven't read the book Unreasonable Hospitality, which maybe we talked about actually,
Yep.
If listening to this or watching this, read Unreasonable Hospitality. It's amazing book about how like thoughtful actions and gifts just like mean the world to people. So I feel very like I've been taken care of unreasonably.
Good.
Yes.
Got ridiculous food.
Yeah.
Fun thing. Yeah, good.
When you told us that there were going to be surprises, so when we set this up, I think you asked for a t-shirt size or somebody did.
So there was some,
And I was
I
like,
hadn't forgotten.
oh yeah, I'm probably going to get like an Axomo shirt. and then we got off the phone with you this morning. Like I have some surprises, and I was like, I'm an idiot. Why did I think there was going to be Axomo?
right.
I've interacted with Matt, for 15 minutes, and like, it's going to be, and that's the whole thing, right?
Yes.
Like someone knew, is like, hey, it's for you and to create unity within your team, and so
You can create unity outside too. And that's my favorite part of our job is watching people feel delighted. We were just at a trade show in Chicago, and there's this like delight about the thing you created. And every entrepreneur, you guys have a new business. I'm super proud of you to see your name out there. What is that like? Like to see your name on things you didn't plan for. How does that feel?
Yeah. No, it's awesome. It's like, well, really, we built that. Like,
You did it.
didn't exist before.
It's a thing now.
We brought that to the world. Yeah.
it's cool. It's cool. I mean, you probably noticed we were both wearing things that same dinner
That we also not for
that we got through Axomo, which was awesome, and it's really exciting for people to see it and be like, oh, that's so sweet. Like that's your company.
Tell me about your vision. I think that I've read something recently that when you shine, you give others permission to shine. And I feel such a shine from you guys. Dude, there's so much ambition and hope and drive. What's your vision? Tell us like your vision for like you as a person, why you did this and like where you think this is going. And we got time. So
Yeah.
I think I have recognized times in my life when I have absolutely loved the work on vacation. And I've recognized times in my life when I dread the work that I'm engaged in. And often, Matt and I had a conversation a year ago now where I had this realization. I mean, Matt probably had this realization earlier. He was like helping me have this realization where he was like, you're just not actually aligned with the people you're working with.
oof.
Right. And I was like, why is this so frustrating?
Right.
We're going to this problem. Obviously, it'd be hard in any situation, but like, this is just so discouraging.
Yeah.
And I almost don't want it to work.
Right.
And we recognize like, hey, when you're actually aligned with people that you work with in ways that you normally don't like vocalize in the hiring process of like, hey, how much do you care about like actually having real integrity? Like, is that important to you? It's not horrible if it's not to somebody. It's just useful knowing where people stand. and in ways that we often can't verbalize it. And so I recognize that myself about, okay, well, and Matt was like, well, if you can't find it, you should make it. Like create this place.
Certainly, I didn't say the word should though.
That's not what it is. Yeah. Well, but he was like, if you can't find it,
This isn't like a fun idea. Yeah,
you
file the paper.
you could make it. And so it that was big to me, like the vote of confidence of, hey, you don't have to settle. Right. And recognizing like I'm not sure my mom thinks I'm special, but like I'm not that special.
You are so special.
I'm not that.
It is such a thing.
Oh yeah. Right. Everybody shouldn't settle for something that will actually bring them joy.
Right.
And so it became, okay, how do we do this? It's very much a one-on-one kind of experience, but can we build a tool that uses, AI and all these cool things that actually help people find teams that they're aligned with? And so as we go to the market, it's very much, hey, companies, you can find people who are more aligned with your actual culture. You can see how your culture is growing and evolving, better retention, engagement, all these things, all the positive HR buzzwords. And we're almost even more excited about the positive impact it has on the individual, where when they come in and are
versus the business receiving the benefit.
Yeah, the business.
I loved having HireAligned help me become aligned.
Yeah, and we don't know how to quantify that yet, but we have people who get hired at these companies that are our customers, and we go in and talk to the individual who got hired. They're like, "This is a game changer. I started interacting with this. Like, I applied, I got sent this assessment, and I'm like, you have this AI that's empathizing, asking about my experiences and all these things, and then it told me how good of a fit XYZ company was for me.
It's awesome.
And they come in feeling that alignment. And so that's like, short-term vision. Long-term vision of where we're at is, hey, other than all these things of, hey, can we, change the employment experience and the hiring experience and just the way people engage and align? The world indexes way too much on resumes and, years of experience and things where
told are valuable.
Yeah, things we're told are valuable. Everybody goes, they post a job at Indeed, everything's auto applying back and forth. It's kind of a broken game. And so can we change the game so that it's actually promoting happiness and fulfillment and joy? That's awesome term versus
Look at the joy you're feeling from solving a problem.
Yeah,
I love it.
Oh, I love it.
Right.
What's the review?
Yeah. Well, so I'm going to go back a little bit farther because I think that a lot of times humans spend a lot of effort trying to belong somewhere to ultimately find out they're not aligned there. I mean, think back to when we were kids, high school, even college or post college years or whatever, right? We spend a lot of time trying to belong somewhere because that's not all we actually care about as humans. It's like our most fundamental need, right? And so when I reflect on like my past, I can think of a lot of those incidents, and none of them are bad, right? They're all part of like the journey.
Sure, yeah.
And none of them are like, oh, because those people they were bad or they didn't welcome me. On the contrary, actually. And I've had a lot of experience where I've learned like, oh, I don't really align with this industry even. Like I was involved in agriculture very heavily, like as a kid and then even during college and after. And I just had a really powerful realization one day. I was like, there's no people here.
Wow.
Like I'm out there, with all the animals and it's like, there's no people here.
But I like you.
Yeah. And I've just been grateful for that. Like, so in hindsight, right, it's like I wasn't really aligned with this like dream and vision that I was building. And like, what a great thing to realize and understand. So that then like, as I've shifted into things that I am more aligned with, like it's more joy and fulfillment. So I believe a lot of things are possible that maybe a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's a really steep climb. And I'm committed to sticking with it because I don't want anyone to be involved in something that they're not finding like engagement and fulfillment with.
That's awesome.
So ultimately, like the last thing I'll say about our big vision is that whenever this is kind of where we started, right? Whenever there's alignment, things just work better. And ultimately, like a team that's in alignment can be led. Whereas a team that's not in alignment, they have to be people managed.
Wow.
If you really think about that, like that, what requires people management systems and levers and tools that people are necessary in our society is when they're not aligned. Because you're trying to say, how do I get people to do something?
Yeah.
Or how do I like manipulate this thing to like get this outcome from someone? Instead of like, And again, I get that this feels a little bit like fairy tale land. And if you're aligned, that stuff just isn't necessary because you get to lead people to a bigger vision instead of like use a system of control and management to get them to do something.
I don't think it's fantasy land. I think that we know it exists and we desperately want it. We want romantic relationships like that, friendship relationships, familial, professionally. We want relationships like that where we share that. That's Zion, one heart, one mind. And so we talked yesterday about Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Netflix documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
So he's been a sushi chef for over 50 years, 3 Michelin stars, 10 seats, $300 a plate. You only have 20 minutes. He declined Barack Obama. Like, it is an extremely elite public experience. No software. No, he's Japanese in Tokyo. He doesn't even care who he is. Yeah, right. And he left home at the age of 7. He started in a restaurant at the age of 10, learned how to make sushi, and makes what all the best sushi chefs think he's the best. And he serves 10 people at a time for 20 minutes. And if you apprentice under him, you have to make rice for 10 years. And talk about being aligned. Seeing someone as a master and being willing to give a decade of your life to make rice every day. That's crazy. And then 5 years on fish. So you're a decade and a half as an apprentice. And you're going to learn how to like massage an octopus for 50 minutes at a time until it's ready. Think about that. Where in our world do we talk about mastery? That's alignment. They're aligned to a master.
Yeah.
And not someone who's controlling, not someone who's accountability or any of those things. He just is a master because he loves it. He doesn't call it work. He calls it practice. And he's not worried about awards. He's not worried about accolades. But he wants them to feel the same mastery that he does. And they're on board because they feel his light. They feel his passion. They feel that purity. And what's interesting is that like his whole like mantra is that like mastery is greater than money. But we are obsessed with money. It's our identity.
Yeah.
It's our status. It's our social circles. We brag about it in different ways. And he doesn't even worry about it. He wants you to have the best possible experience with sushi. He gets up at 5 a.m. every day. He stretches. He washes his hands. He inspects the meat. He rejects the tuna delivery if it's not perfect. And you better believe that any fish house is dying to get in it. And not because it's a big order. Because of who he is. Yeah. So I love that point that like he has had a people management system. He just loves people. Now, like these are other people management systems when you get to thousands of people for sure.
Right. But I tell you what, it's a system though. The people themselves are not managed.
That's right. Yeah. And it's there is that. So let's not say that it's not a good thing. But I was really inspired by that. I felt joy learning about him, let alone, just wanting that in my own life. And I don't make sushi. But I love that concept of mastery, and it's such an invitation.
Yeah. Well, and so back to the money thing, though, the money has followed him.
It did
because it was not the objective, right? Because there's like a bigger vision of what he wants and what he loves and what he wants to bring to the world. Then it becomes inevitable, to borrow our friend Mitch Whiting's word, that will follow because you're focused on like what's aligned with you.
Yeah. He's living in his magic, and it feels like magic, but it's just really incredible passion and discipline. I think that we look at like any of our favorite heroes, Michael Jordan on down, that you can feel it from them. You don't have to ask if they like it. You're not wondering if I like food, right? Like, yeah. It's an invitation. I didn't say, do you guys want In-N-Out? Like I didn't call you and say, how about a double? And you'd be like, maybe Burger King, right? But when people live in their magic, that's an invitation. And not to be them, but you want to be around that, and it's so neat. So,
yeah.
Parting words, what can you share with our community about thinking about alignment for themselves?
And look, I would say that a lot of us lie to ourselves very frequently.
Don't tell my mom.
Yeah. About what we actually want. And I found it to be very like helpful on an individual and personal basis to just get like honest with myself about what I want and what I don't want. Start saying yes to the things I want and no to the things I don't. And then asking myself questions around like, how could I have both of these things that don't seem like they go together? that's one of our core values is abundance. And that's kind of how that is represented in our company, that like you can have a job you absolutely love. You can find a team you're absolutely aligned with a leader that you absolutely want to go battle with, and not have it destroy your family life or your outside interests or that you can have both. It's all a matter of like understanding what you want, who you are, and then going and being willing to like make the decisions and take the action to find where you align.
Love that honesty. Thank you. Parting words.
I think on a really tactical level, in terms of, right, we're like very much in the hiring and employment space. We often put ourselves just in boxes. No. I've been on this like networking mountain bike ride thing this morning, and you meet somebody and you're like, cool, what's your name? What do you do? And people are like, yeah, I used to introduce myself. Yeah, I'm Jacob, and I'm a data scientist. And here's the like,
is that who you really are? Right. Yeah.
I'm like, no. And so I had kind of this weird experience where like I quit doing that. And I was like, wait, how am I supposed to introduce myself? Like, who am I? And we have, when somebody says, hey, I'm Bob and I do software engineering, without trying, everybody immediately puts him in a box of, cool, well, the movies he's watching, music lists. Well, here's where he fits in at the company I'm familiar with, and here's the kinds of value he can provide. When it's very likely that that's not what he actually does.
Sure.
And like me saying, hey, I'm a data scientist, like if you were to say, hey, what are the 5 ways you provide value the most? Like it'd be down here.
Yeah.
It's not even there. And so recognizing that we put ourselves in boxes, and when we do that, other people just without even trying to do that as well. And so we can show up in more powerful ways by thinking, okay, who are we? What am I committed to? And what do I want to be known for? And then introducing ourselves like that, which then just opens up a whole different world. Instead of, and say, maybe I'm looking for a software engineering job, but instead of saying, yeah, I'm looking for a software engineering job, it's like, no, I'm looking to do XYZ with an organization, and I do it through, ABC with the thing. And then people are immediately like, oh, all the world opens up and they got all these connections, and like, oh, well, somebody was telling me about this, maybe you should do these, whatever. And it's just a really cool way to show up, and it's very empowering. Instead of being like, I'm this Lego piece and I have to fit in somewhere, and you're like frantically searching for, like a Lego set where you're needed.
Yeah.
And that's what can be really frustrating and demoralizing. But recognizing, hey, I'm not a Lego piece. Like I'm, you have a unique value that you bring to the world. Is also, I think that's a really powerful, kind of very practical thing that I talk about a lot when I talk to people who are looking for jobs, because and we have a cool thing on our website. It's free to go to, that you can go through kind of one of these AI assessments, and it will spit that out and help you sort of formulate that. This is the jobs here. Yeah, it's awesome. So awesome.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Thank you, Matt and Jacob, for coming on the show. We're so glad that you guys came. I love your energy. Some rising stars here in the tech scene in Utah. So, guys, good luck. Thank you. Keep shining your head us of us, and I appreciate you being on the show.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, everything. You burgers and swags.
Spoiled rotten, man.
That's a wrap.